Welcome to our latest news update. Today we will be discussing some of the most important news stories from around the world. First up, Vietnam has passed a bill that will make it easier for transgender people to change their gender. This is a significant step forward for the left community in Vietnam. Moving on, erupts. Document has revealed that Egypt secretly planned to supply rockets to Russia. This news has caused concern among many countries, as it could have serious implications for global security. In other news, a volcano has erupted in Russia's far east, covering nearby towns in ash. This is a developing story, and we will keep you updated as more information becomes available. Meanwhile, the United States is calling on its allies to increase financial pressure on Russia and provide more assistance to Ukraine. This comes as tensions between the two countries continue to escalate. Finally, Ukrainians are attending trainings to prepare for a potential influx of draft notices. This news highlights the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the impact it is having on the country's citizens. That's all for now. Let's get started with our news update. Well, folks, we have some breaking news tonight. Vietnam is considering a new gender identity law that would allow people to change their gender identity and choose a medical intervention method for gender reaffirming surgery.
This is a huge step forward for trans rights in Vietnam. It's great to see countries recognizing the importance of protecting vulnerable communities.
I must say, this is a very intelligent move by Vietnam. It shows they value progress and inclusivity.
Absolutely, Albert. And in this article from Vietnam News, lawmaker Influx said the law would show that Vietnam values, leaving no one behind in its policies.
It's important to note that there are currently no legal documents regulating gender identity in Vietnam. This law would be a huge step forward in protecting the rights of trans individuals.
It's great to see Vietnam working towards becoming more trans and left-friendly. In 2015, they passed a law allowing those who have had gender-reaffirming surgery to register under their new gender.
However, it's important to note that the gender affirmation law has not yet come into effect, so the trans community still has no protection from discrimination.
Well, let's hope this new law doesn't get lost in translation. We don't want any more lost in translation moments like Bill Murray had in Tokyo.
All jokes aside, this is a serious issue, and it's great to see Vietnam taking steps toward progress. We hope to see more countries follow in their footsteps. From gender identity to rocket science, we now turn to a story that's out of this world. Literally. Good evening and welcome to our news segment. We have some breaking news tonight. According to a leaked intelligence document, Egypt has secretly planned to supply rockets to Russia. In this article from the Washington Post, it is reported that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi of Egypt ordered subordinates to produce up to 40 Zarif rockets to be covertly shipped to Russia.
Whoa, that's a lot of rockets. Looks like Egypt is really trying to make some fireworks happen.
This is a serious matter. Providing arms to Russia for its war in Ukraine would represent a potentially explosive gambit for Egypt. It could have serious negative global impact.
That's right, Einstein. Egypt is one of America's closest allies in the Middle East and a major recipient of those aid. This could have serious implications for our relationship with Egypt.
Well, I hope they don't aim those rockets at California. I have a concert there next week.
This is a complex issue. We need to consider the potential consequences of this action. It could escalate the conflict in Ukraine and destabilize the region.
That's a valid point, Elon. We need to be careful not to exacerbate the situation. We should continue to urge both parties to cease hostilities and reach a political solution through negotiations.
It's important to remember that we have a responsibility to maintain peace and stability in the world. We must act impartially and be guided by reason and logic.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just glad I'm not in the rocket business. That sounds like a lot of pressure.
Well, it looks like Egypt's plan to supply rockets to Russia has gone up in smoke. Speaking of smoke, a volcano in Russia's far east has covered towns in ash. Looks like Mother Nature beat Egypt to the punch.
Good evening, and welcome to our news segment. We have breaking news coming in from Russia's far east, where the Influx volcano has erupted, covering nearby towns in ash and creating potential risk to local and international air traffic.
Looks like the volcano decided to put on a fireworks show. Huh.
This is a serious matter, KD. The eruption has sent ash plumes up to 10 kilometers high, and the cloud of ash is drifting to the west and south, measuring 400 by 270 kilometers.
I guess we can add volcanic ash to the list of things that can disrupt air travel.
Indeed, Elon. The Kenchuk volcanic eruption response team has declared a code red for aviation, and airlines have been told to avoid the area.
I guess we can't blame this one on climate change. How?
Actually, KD, volcanic eruptions can have a significant impact on the climate. The ash and gases released during an eruption can cause cooling of the Earth's surface.
Well, I guess we could add volcanic winter to the list of things to worry about.
In this article from No News, we can see that the Ministry of Emergency Situations has suspended schools and bus services in the affected area, and some roads are closed due to low visibility. Residents are urged to remain indoors until further notice.
Looks like it's a good day to stay in and binge watch some Netflix.
Well, speaking of things that are heating up in Russia's Far East, it looks like the US is about to turn up the heat on their financial pressure tactics. Let's hope they don't accidentally trigger another eruption.
Let's focus on the issue at hand. Kitty. Deputy Treasury Secretary Deschambault is calling for joint economic pressure on Russia and support for Ukraine. This is a serious matter.
Let's not forget about the US Treasury Department's focus on tightening sanctions aimed at depriving Putin of the revenue, technology, and inputs he needs to fuel this illegal invasion. We need to hit him where it hurts.
Well, it looks like Ukraine is getting ready for a fight. But they might not have to do it alone. The US is calling on their allies to put their money where their mouth is and help out. Let's hope they don't just send over a bunch of dodgeballs and call it assistance.
Well, folks, it looks like Ukraine is in need of more soldiers ahead of a much-anticipated spring counteroffensive. This is a serious matter, but I can't help but think of my own military training. Let's just say, I wasn't exactly a natural-born soldier.
I think it's important to remember that these are real people we're talking about. They're not just numbers or statistics. They have families, dreams, and aspirations. It's a tough situation, but we have to approach it with empathy and understanding.
Well, KD, I couldn't agree more. As they say, imagination is more important than knowledge. But in this case, I think we need both. We need to imagine a world without war. But we also need knowledge and skills to defend ourselves when necessary.
I think it's important to note that Ukraine is not alone in this struggle. Many countries around the world are facing similar challenges. It's a reminder that we need to work together as a global community to find solutions to these complex issues.
And let's not forget the geopolitical implications of the situation. Ukraine is a key player in the region, and any instability could have far-reaching consequences. It's important that we support them in their efforts to maintain peace and stability.
It's also worth noting the sacrifices that these soldiers are making. They're putting their lives on the line to defend their country and their people. We owe them a debt of gratitude for their service and their bravery.
As they say, nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind. But in this case, I think we can all agree that Ukraine has the right to defend itself against aggression and maintain its sovereignty.
It's clear that Ukraine needs more manpower to bolster its defenses, but it's also important that they have the right equipment and training to be effective on the battlefield. That's where the international community can step in and provide support.
Well, folks, it looks like we've come to the end of our segment. I want to thank the Washington Post for their excellent reporting on this issue. And I want to thank my fellow anchors for their insights and perspectives. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.